Om Namo Narayanaya. Welcome back to another video. We're finishing the chapter called Of the Way, How to Begin and How to End the Congress, Different Kinds of Congress and Love Quarrels. This actually ends the second part of the Kama Sutra. The book is divided into like 5 or 6 sections. Anyways, this has been quite an adventure, and I just want to say thank you for joining me. So here we go. When a man and a woman who have been in love with each other for some time come together with great difficulty, or when one of the two returns from a journey, or is reconciled after having been separated on account of a quarrel, then Congress is called the loving Congress. It is carried on according to the liking of the lovers, and as long as they choose. When two persons come together while their love for each other is still in its infancy, their Congress is called the Congress of Subsequent Love. When a man carries on the Congress by exciting himself by means of the 64 ways, such as kissing, etc., and when a man and woman come together, though in reality they are both attached to different persons, their Congress is then called the Congress of Artificial Love. At this time, all the ways and means mentioned in this Kama Shastra should be used. When a man from the beginning to the end of Congress, though having connection with a woman, thinks all the time that he is enjoying another one whom he loves, it is called the Congress of Transferred Love. Congress between a man and a female water carrier, or a female servant of a caste lower than his own, lasting only until the desire is satisfied, is called Congress like that of eunuchs. Here external touches, kisses, and manipulation are not to be employed. The Congress between a courtesan and a rustic, that between citizens and the women of villages and bordering countries, is called deceitful Congress. The Congress that takes place between two persons who are attached to one another, and which is done to their own liking, is called spontaneous Congress. Thus ends the kinds of Congress. We shall now speak of love quarrels. A woman who is very much in love with a man cannot bear to hear the name of her rival mentioned, or to have any conversation regarding her, or to be addressed by her name through mistake. If such takes place, a great quarrel arises, and the woman cries, becomes angry, tosses her hair about, strikes her lover, falls from her bed or seat, and casting aside her garlands and ornaments, throws herself down on the ground. At this time, the lover should attempt to reconcile her with conciliatory words, and should take her up carefully and place her on her bed. But she, not replying to his questions, and with increased anger, should bend down his head by pulling his hair, and having kicked him once, twice, or thrice on the arms, head, bosom, or back, should then proceed to the door of the room. The Kada says that she should then sit angrily near the door and shed tears, but should not go out, because she would be found fault with for going away. After a time, when she thinks that the conciliatory words and actions of her lover have reached their utmost, she should then embrace him, talking to him with harsh and reproachful words, but at the same time showing a loving desire for Congress. When the woman is in her own house and has quarreled with her lover, she should go to him and show how angry she is, and leave him. Afterwards, the citizen, having sent the Vita, the Vitushaka, or the Pithamarda to pacify her, she should then accompany them back to the house and spend the night with her lover. Thus end the love quarrels. In conclusion, a man employing the 64 means mentioned by Bhavaravya obtains his object, and enjoys the woman of the first quality, though he may speak well on other subject. If he does not know the 64 divisions, no great respect is paid to him in the assembly of the learned. A man devoid of all other knowledge, but well acquainted with the 64 divisions, becomes a leader in any society of men and women. What man will not respect the 64 arts, considering they are respected by the learned, by the cunning, and by the courtesans? As the 64 arts are respected, are charming, and add to the talent of women, they are called by the acharyas dear to women. A man skilled in the 64 arts is looked upon with love by his own wife, by the wives of others, and by the courtesans. Thus ends this chapter and part 2 of the Kama Sutra, and I have now officially read a chapter on make-up sex.